So, welcome back. So, in our last meeting, we were discussing why do we need formal logic, why do we need a mathematics like language for reasoning when we could have used something like natural language, and we saw that there were various arguments against natural language, mainly richness, ambiguity, verbosity, impreciseness. You can either be precise or you can be verbose. And this nice cartoon from the book Conceptual Structures by John Sower indicates that quite nicely. So, logic is in fact a branch of mathematics. The earliest logicians were mathematicians. As far as the formal system is concerned, when we talk about logic and reasoning and arguments, we say this is true, this is not true, this is false, this is not false. Mathematically, truth values are just members of a set of arity of two, that is for classical logics, in which sentences are mapped. So, every sentence is mapped either to the first element of this set or the second element of the set. So, for example, the first element could be true, the second element could be false, or we could write it as capital T and capital F, or we could write it as 1 and 0. All of them are, as far as we are concerned, the same. It is a set of two elements, and we want to basically partition our sentences in a logic into these two sets, essentially, whether it is true or whether it is false. We said that what we want from knowledge representation reasoning is what does an agent know and what else does the agent know as a consequence of what it knows. So, once we map the given knowledge or given set of statements to true, or the knowledge base as we said, then we are interested in knowing what else is true. For us, of course, as humans, it comes, we say that okay, I can see it with my own eyes, so it must be true. So, of course, nowadays with all those fake videos, it is not so easy. But for us, validation comes from the domain. We are seeing it with our own eyes is the standard phrase that we use essentially. We also mentioned that different logic languages have different levels of expressivity, and we have said that this comes as a trade off. We will see some of this as we go along in this course. We have also said that logic is concerned with valid arguments. We are interested in what forms of arguments, what forms of reasoning, what patterns of arguments are valid and which patterns are not valid. The language comes as a second thing. So, here is a whole family of logics that people talk about. In the center, in the rectangle, are these classical two values logics. Propositional logic is the simplest, then first order logic, then second order logic. We will spend a large part of the course on first order logic, because first order logic is something that is sufficient to describe almost all mathematics, and everything that a computer program does is essentially, we will see, is something which can be directly related to first order logic. So, the thrust of our course will be on first order logic essentially, though we will begin with propositional logic because it is a simpler language. We will make a passing mention of second order logic, which is too expressive for us. Even first order logic, we will find computationally it is difficult to handle. So, we will look at two subsets of first order logic. One is called horn clause logic, one is called description logics, and we will see that this is simply to fight this monster of computational complexity, that we will work with restricted languages. But we will also look at more expressive languages like event calculus and default logics, which go beyond what first order logic allows you to say essentially. We will spend a little bit of time on epistemic logics, which is concerned with what one agent knows about what another agent knows essentially. And epistemic logics are basically a kind of modal logics, but we will not look into the intricacies there. Temporal logics are concerned with time essentially, what something is true at this time and something is true at a later time, then how do we deal with that essentially. Modal logics are logics which, for example, talk about the possibility of and necessity, for example, that some sentences are necessarily true, some sentences are possibly true essentially. So, there is a language for talking about that, but we do not have too much time to worry about that. There are other things which are mentioned in shaded boxes which we will not look at all. Fuzzy logic is one example, rough sets is another example. Rough sets are kind of tied up to modal logics, because the set of true sentences, the set of necessarily true sentences, the set of partially true sentences. So, these are kind of rough sets essentially. An element belongs to a set or may belong to a set or does not belong to a set. Whereas, in classical logics, either you belong to the set of true statements or you do not belong to the set of true statements. So, this whole business about valid argument, is formalized by this notion of entailment. We start with a knowledge base, as we said. A set of premises or axioms are initially given to be true. Premises are something that you assume to be true. Axioms are something that we are convinced that they are true. So, there is not much difference as far as logic is concerned between the two, but axioms are known to be true statements. And we will refer to the set as the set of sentences S or the knowledge base KB. So, axioms are known to be true, premises are given and assumed to be true. A knowledge base is true if all the sentences in the knowledge base are true, if and only if. The notion of entailment is this, that given the knowledge base, which is a set of true statements, all the other sentences in the languages have truth values that are determined or entailed by the knowledge base. So, once you say that the knowledge base is true, then in principle we can say you give me any other sentence in that language and I would be able to tell you whether it is entailed or whether it is not entailed. So, by a set of entailed statements we mean the set of sentences which are also true essentially. So, if the knowledge base is true, what other sentences in the language are true is the notion of entailment. So, we will use the term entailed sometimes, but we more often than not we will use the term true. So, we are saying given this knowledge base, is this sentence alpha true? That means, is it entailed by the knowledge base or not? So, formally a sentence alpha, we will use alpha, beta, gamma to stand for sentences. Beyond that, we do not know what is the language we are talking about, but these are sentences in the sense something which can in principle be given a truth value, either it is true or it is false in principle. So, a sentence alpha is said to be entailed by a set of sentences which we will call as the S or the knowledge base KB, if the sentence is necessarily true whenever the knowledge base is true. And we will use this formal notation to capture the notion of entailment. So, the knowledge base entails alpha is written formally like this. As I said, we will not always use the term entailed, we will also use the term true. We will also say that alpha is true. Of course, implicit is the fact that given the knowledge base. So, we can imagine this, we have a language which is a formal language which is a set of sentences. We have a knowledge base which is shown in the center here with shaded circle, and we accept the knowledge base and say okay, yes, whatever you have given us is true. And then there is a set of sentences which is entailed by the knowledge base. Of course, I have drawn them as small sets here but in principle the set of entailed sentences is going to be infinite. We also have the notion of provability. Entailment talks about truth, provability talks about proof or derivability. So, the logic machine has a set of rules of inference. A rule of inference is a rule which says that whether another sentence can be added to the knowledge base. We have already seen the syllogism earlier. The syllogism says, if you give me a sentence, all men are mortal, and if you give me another sentence, Socrates is a man. We are not talking about truth values now. Okay, we are simply saying that this sentence exists in the knowledge base. All men are mortal is represented in the knowledge base. Socrates is a man is represented in the knowledge base. What the rule of inference, which is a syllogism, which is a valid form of reasoning, says that you can add the sentence Socrates is mortal also to the knowledge base. And that is what a rule of inference does. It looks at patterns and decides what else can be added to the set of sentences. A logic machine has algorithms for deriving new sentences from old ones. So, just like we saw, we can derive the sentence Socrates is mortal from the old sentences which were all men are mortal and Socrates is a man. And we can keep repeatedly applying these rules of inferences by adding more and more sentences, and eventually what we have is a proof essentially. So, given a knowledge base, a new sentence alpha is added to the KB by repeated application of rules of inference. So, let us say we stop and we are interested in one particular sentence alpha, and once we can add it to the knowledge base, then we can stop the proof, and what we say is that alpha is provable given the knowledge base. So, we use a slightly different symbol, if you will notice here, which is different from the notion of entailment, which had two horizontal lines. This is one horizontal line, and this is said to stand for the fact that alpha is derivable from the knowledge base or alpha is provable. The goal of the logic machinery that we want to build is to mechanically produce, by this process of derivation, match a pattern and add new things. The goal is to produce all and only true sentences that are entailed. If we can do that, if we can build a machine that will produce all the entailed statements or all the true statements, and if it can produce only true statements and nothing else, so all and only true statements, all and only entailed statements, then we are happy. We do not have to worry about truth values and entailment and stuff like that, and we will see how that happens. We can simply rely on the logic machine to see whether it can produce the sentence that we are interested in. If it can, then we will accept it to be true. We will talk on this notion a little bit more. So, this is the notion of the proof that so, for example, this is an application of a rule of inference. It says that if this is there in the knowledge base and this is there in the knowledge base, then you can add this into knowledge base. Likewise, we have these other rules of inference and we keep adding new things. So, we added this, then we add this, then we add this, then we add this, then we add this, and then we can add this, and maybe that is the sentence we are interested in. And if we have added this, then this whole sequence of derivations is called the proof essentially, and that is arrived at by application of rules of inference. So, we have two notions now. One is called the notion of soundness and the other is called the notion of completeness. We will talk about this in a little bit more fashion. So, you see that given this knowledge base, we have two sets. One is the set of provable statements which have been shown by these colored circles here. The other is the set of entailed statements which has been shown by these squares here. These are two different sets, and what we are saying is that we would like to build a machine in which these two sets are identical essentially. Whatever is in one set should be in the other set and vice versa, and that is the notion of soundness and completeness. So, given a knowledge base and a reasoning algorithm, some algorithm we have for adding new sentences of generating the proof. Entailment says which other sentences in the language are necessarily true. Proof says which other sentences in the language can be one can produce by the reasoning algorithm. And we say that our reasoning algorithm is sound if it produces only true statements. That if it produces something, we can accept it to be true. Completeness says that if a statement is true, then our logic machine will prove it. So, if we can produce or prove or derive all true statements, then we say that our machine is complete, logic machine is complete. If it can derive only true statements, then we say that our logic machine is sound. So, we are basically interested in producing a logic machine which is both sound and complete, which means that if you are given a knowledge base and if you want to find out some other sentence alpha is true or not, we simply give it to this machine, and if it produces it, then we say yes, it's true. If it doesn't produce it, then we say no, it's not true. So, that is a benefit of a sound and a complete logical system. So, let us take another short break, and we will come back and look at how this set of sentences in a formal language is constructed. So, how do we define this formal language of logic which has this set of sentences? So, see you in the next video.